Good evening. Hello. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you probably are watching the DNC Evening One, but if you have not caught up on the news today, that's my job now to catch you up. And if you feel like then joining us for the President Biden tribute party where we all together watch his speech, and also I prepared like a tribute video and we chit chat and share our stories, please join me right after this. But if you are already watching DNC and you want to keep watching, cool, then come back. And this will be short and sweet, about 45 minutes, where we catch up on all the news that did happen yesterday, today, Harris and Walz campaign, President Biden, and everything leading up to his speech that will be tonight. Okay, if you're joining for the very first time, please feel welcome to comment, to ask questions, to just express your feedback. And in case I'm saying something that contradicts whatever you know, please state the source and I gladly will be corrected. Okay? Hello. Hi, Brandon. Hello. You got your tablet working? Perfect. Perfect. So you're ready for the next thing. Cool. Love it. Maybe you can even stream it on like bigger screen or whatever. No, probably not this week. Okay, everything fell. Anyway, probably not streaming afterwards because you'll be joining with the camera. So, okay. So let's talk about everything that did happen up until now. So yesterday, if you perhaps have not heard, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz went on a big bus tour in Western Pennsylvania. So it was super fun. They made several stops. Here are some videos of those very personable moments. And I think that's what truly describes this ticket. And that's what is the main difference, one of the many, but also main difference that is really speaking to us as opposed to the Trump Vance folks. So the first video is when they greeted the crowd. So as you see, the spouses were there. Everybody was chanting, "We're not going back." And this is Pennsylvania, for God's sakes. This is not New York or California. This is Pennsylvania, battleground state. So they went to their office first, and they even volunteered. They met the volunteers and even volunteered to call people, all four of them. Then they helped people get prepared. Then they visited a couple of shops, even a school where obviously Coach Walz was, advising even the athletes. So if you're looking for very detailed with quotes and everything description, this will be tonight in your email, right? So if you are subscribed to my Substack, which is right here, you'll get all the quotes and all the detail, as we call color, right? The feelings, the emotions on that tour. So you can imagine like as if you were even there. So another video I want to show you, you know how they say like dogs, animals, but specifically dogs will always kind of give you a hint as to who's a good person, who's not. Here's Kamala Harris with the dog when they stopped at the fire department. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, that little, I think it was 4-month-old thing, little puppy, could not stop, kissing her. So here you go. And then they stopped at a supermarket, and there was this whole thing about Doritos, where I think this video is quite, few years old, but it went viral where Kamala Harris said that when Trump got elected in 2016, she was sitting there and ate the whole bag of Doritos. And this Dorito thing, of course, was made viral by Magaville because apparently they're not agreeing that you're supposed to be eating Doritos. So I loved it how our troop here continued that Dorito scheme. So they went to the supermarket where Kamala Harris said she loves, in terms of snacks, she loves original Doritos and root beer. And so then first, second gentleman found the smaller bag, and then Team Walz found the bigger bag. So this was heavily discussed. So here you go.
Is it corn nuts over there,
Isn't this it?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, that's the big. There you go. That's funny. Acorn nuts over there.
And I don't know about you, but I'd rather vote for somebody who loves Doritos than looks like a Dorito. Okay? Well, now my phone wrote looks like a Dorito. Interesting. So the next thing, of course, the DNC. So after the tour, Kamala Harris and second gentleman flew directly to Chicago. Tim Walz stayed behind, and then he flew there today. So then when they arrived, they obviously called the lid, and she's spending time preparing. And obviously, those 4 days are the biggest days for her. She also will go tomorrow to Milwaukee to also simultaneously fill the entire arena where RNC did happen, several weeks ago. So at the same time, on screen, there will be a filled arena in Milwaukee and in Chicago. So how about that? The trolling really elevates, right? As we say, if Trump tries to troll or MAGAville tries to be stupid, well, we can both play in this game, right? So now this side, offers some trolling too, which is welcome. A little fun. So at the DNC, first, what I checked out was the meeting of the Black Caucus. And why? Because Tim Walz stepped there and addressed the caucus, and he spoke for 7 minutes. I posted a full video on my Twitter, so take a look. But here's a snippet where, you know how they say, call a thing, right? What is that big elephant in the room? He called that big elephant in the room. Take a look.
Strong and decent nations acknowledge their past, the good, the bad, and the ugly that goes with it. We acknowledge it because it lets us chart a course for the future. Those guys taking us back, as the Vice President said, we aren't going back. We're not going back.
Not going back.
But we're going forward. We're going forward in a country that everybody matters. Everybody's got a chance. Everybody can see generational wealth. Everybody can get access to capital to start their small business. And a recognition that the systemic and historic barriers that were put in front of black communities have stopped that movement towards a more perfect union, have held it back. And as I say to Bobby Joe Champion again, the one thing you can always count on, a lot of times, this was the history, you can count on the sun rising in the east and setting in the west, and you can count on white politicians coming to black communities to ask for their votes. What's different this time is we have a black woman going to lead us, and she's asking for the votes. She's asking for the votes.
As they say, call a thing. And you know how exciting this is, and how proud we all should be to be in this historic moment. And I think it really calls for joy and for honor and for gratitude, right? For all those, speaking of Hillary Clinton, who will be addressing the DNC tonight, God forbid RNC, DNC tonight. So much was done on her behalf to enable Kamala Harris to be here, to enable all of us to be here. So I always remember, all this hope in 2016 that it might be that moment. But okay, it didn't happen then, but it's our job to let it happen now and make it happen now. So I'm really happy that he spoke about it. So then I want to present to you a snippet from Maxine Waters, as they call Auntie Maxine. She spoke about Kamala Harris, the candidate to the Black Caucus, and also as what has changed in the election and what position is she in. And if she is not ready, as the MAGAville claims, then she doesn't know what ready actually means. Take a listen.
Now, this campaign is receiving the kind of money where she won't have to step down, she won't have to get aside, she won't have to beg on her knees. The money is coming in, and we're going to have the resources we need to win the presidency of the United States of America. And so, we're going to hear all kinds of things. You know that man with the orange hair who lies all the time, who is so divisive, one of the most deplorable human beings we'll ever meet in our lives. We know that he's going to come up with every kind of lie imaginable. Can you imagine the big lie there were not 15,000 people in Detroit. It was all artificial intelligence. They just made it up. He is a brazen liar. He'll tell one every day, every minute, and every hour. But what he cannot do, he cannot make the people of this country believe that we don't have the most competent, the most ready, the most capable individual who's going to be the President of the United States of America, coming into this convention with more delegates than she actually needs. What can you say about a woman who served as city attorney in San Francisco, went on to be Attorney General, went on to run for the Senate of the United States, was chosen to be the Vice President? If that's not ready, I don't know what is.
Breach. And by the way, you've heard her mention the AI-generated crowd, but then this buffoon goes along and posts this. I mean, if that is not AI-generated stupidity, and just mind you, his first wife comes from a communist Czechoslovakia. His second wife, or whatever, third wife now, comes also from a communist country where her father was dealing with communists. So he would know what communism means. And here they put, Chicago there and all of this. That's their portrayal of the DNC. Unhinged, using AI. Also, I'm not going to show it, but he posted a weird picture using Taylor Swift and her picture as if she would have endorsed him. If that ends up being a lawsuit from Taylor Swift's side, I certainly would welcome that, because where is the limit? Where is the limit? You certainly are lying that Democrats are using AI to present, people, although there are videos of people waiting to get in. Whether they disappear, but then you openly, in the open, using this AI just to fool everybody, and this is just stupid. Has literally no meaning whatsoever. So President Biden this morning, in his true notion, he first thanked all the interns. So him and the First Lady, as you see here, called up upon all the interns from the White House. By the way, those interns do such an amazing work. When we think about any events, whether it's New Year's, Hanukkah, or Easter, or any kind of event, they do such a big job there. And especially also press office, when you reach out, they're the first to help you. So they thanked them and spent some time and took pictures, and it was really, really sweet. Talking about thanking Joe Biden, so during this weekend, he was in Delaware. And so his employees in Delaware bought a full page in the local newspaper that they know he reads, and they wrote him a letter, and they all signed it. So it's very tiny, so I'm going to read it out for you. So it says, "Thank you, boss. Dear Mr. President, all of us signed below have had the honor and privilege of working with you in the United States Senate or on one of your campaigns in Delaware. Our state and our nation are indebted to you for your years of faithful service and sacrifice, and we're grateful for your leadership, lessons, and love. You taught us the value of an honest day's work and showed us the nobility of a life spent in service to others. You asked us to work our hardest for the people entrusted to our care, but you insisted we never miss our kids' dance recital or our parents' birthday party. You expected much of us because our constituents, the residents of Delaware, and the citizens of this nation deserved our very best. Because of your leadership, we worked harder, reached higher, and shined brighter. We have all heard you tell us what your beloved father used to say. It is a lucky person who wakes every morning, puts both feet on the floor, knows what they're about to do, and believes it still matters. Every day, in every situation, your contributions still matter in the most consequential and meaningful ways. You have brought honor and dignity to every office you have held, and we consider ourselves blessed to have been a small part of your journey. As you head to Democratic National Convention this week and prepare to pass the torch to a new generation, we humbly join the millions of people who praise your incredible body of work, and we honor your example as a son, a brother, husband, father, and uncle, a grandfather, a teacher, a leader, and a friend. Thank you, boss. We love you. How touching. I mean, imagine you work, and by the way, I put together this tribute video. It's about 26 minutes from the first time that President Biden, at that time Joe Biden, entered the Congress in 1972 and up to today. And just to have people honor you and thank you and express their gratitude and have put some such touching words together in politics after 5 decades. Now that is an accomplishment. How many people would write this letter to Trump? Crickets. So Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, today on Air Force One, she joined the gaggle. She shared some information. Obviously, the questions were what the speech will be, and she said, look, stay tuned and just enjoy the speech. And he's still fine-tuning it. He's very comfortable. He feels really great about the speech. So there is absolutely no pressure or stress. He's actually enjoying the night. After the speech, he will leave Chicago directly and fly to Santa Barbara in California and spend their entire week, and then return to Delaware by the end of the week. Of course, the media was, oh my God, is he on vacation? And she said, no, president is president 24/7, but he wants and needs to spend some family time in California. So then about the Middle East, and I'm going to have a readout on that. So Secretary Blinken arrived this morning in Tel Aviv. He met with the Israeli part. The biggest news is that Israel has agreed to the deal, and the ball is in Hamas court. So all those 40,000 that are protesting in Chicago, I hope they're protesting the Hamas too, because that's really on their end to accept the deal and bring peace to the Middle East, right? As they say. But I'm going to have a readout a bit later. So tonight, please join us. But if you don't, there's a whole lineup that starts around 9 p.m. AOC will be speaking. Jasmine Crockett will be speaking. Even Jamie Raskin will be speaking. Questionably why tonight. But the last 3 speakers are the First Lady, Dr. Biden, then Ashley Biden, who will be introducing President Biden, and then he is the last speaker, and he will be speaking around 10:50 p.m. Eastern tonight. So it's very long sessions. I think it's because they're on standard time, but it ends at 11:15 p.m. tonight. So I think based on that, he has 25 minutes for his speech. So they arrived today, President Biden and First Lady arrived in Chicago. First, they did a walkthrough in the arena, tested the mic, and we got the first feeling as to, most importantly, not how it's going to look like, because it's not, he's standing there delivering a speech, but what we will feel like. So take a look. So certainly, First Lady was, counting 1, 2, 3, tap, 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 checking mics. So you guys tell me it's nowhere near 40K. It's estimated about 5. Okay. Yeah, easily 5K per student. Okay. Well, that's my whole point. What if tonight it was announced that the peace deal is done? Right on time for President's address. Let's hope for that. That would be certainly deserving, because the last thing we need is really type of a situation like with Jimmy Carter, right, where it was postponed and postponed. Okay, so next thing, let's talk a bit about MAGA, because they are going nuts. They're being trolled, and then they make it worse. And since today is all about DNC and Democrats, as it should be, I want just to update you on the MAGA bill tiny bit. So first thing, really bad news for them this morning was that these polls came out, and this is Fox News, mind you, and they talked about 2024 vote preference, where, as you see, Kamala Harris is leading everywhere. So, and then she lays out the plan for price controls, and people are reacting to it, and people are believing it more so than whatever Trump is blabbering around. And so that really bamboozled their anxiety even more so. So if you follow me on Twitter, yesterday I posted that was Saturday, they sent 15 emails in one day. It was press memo. Talk about this, talk about that. It's like all this shit show. Yesterday, same thing. Today, same thing. Then they started reacting as to, okay, she's going to be in Milwaukee. Well, let us go there. Oh, she's going to be in Chicago, of course. Well, Trump is flying to Chicago tomorrow. By the way, Trump will be having a press conference in Chicago now, tomorrow, unhinged. August 20th at 10 a.m. Central, he will be talking about on Kamala Harris pro-criminal policies that have made every American less safe. Speaking about crazy emails, they also dedicated now Harris Dishonest Mondays, so it's like a series. And then they flip it around, right? Because as you see, yeah, of course, Kamala Harris said everyday prices are too high, but then she explained why, right? Because she said after the pandemic, the prices went up. Now the prices should be going down, but companies are enjoying too high of a margin. And so now we have to talk about pricing going down and what can be done in that regard. So they take any sentence and flip it around. Meanwhile, do not provide any solutions or policies on their behalf, right? So that is like the weirdest thing ever. So what DNC did yesterday, since everybody was in Chicago already spending a night prior to the DNC that kicked off today, they streamed, or they put anyway, take a look. So the talk is, of course, about that infamous Trump hotel in Chicago. So they projected the Project 2025 HQ on it. And then they said, Trump Vance is weird. So they started changing those sayings, but it went through the entire night, went viral, obviously unhinging more of the anxiety and hatred. But these trolls, right, on the MAGA side, they're lacking this even ideas, right, to go somewhere, right, or use any type of new methods or something that is funny or that is sarcastic. No, they're just stepping in front of the mic and just blabbering this lies and hatred and fear-mongering BS that they have been doing really daily. There is no update on that regard. So then what I loved, and this video sort of went viral, you guys made it go viral. I didn't know who this gentleman is, but his name is Parker Short, and he's the leader of the Democratic Youngsters for Democrats for Future or something like that. Anyway, you correct me. But Charlie Kirk, who is credentialed by the DNC, the mega, ultra mega buffoon. I don't know what brought him there or why he was accredited to even be there, but he stepped into the arena at the DNC and he was schooled like he was never schooled before. Take a look.
Because we have a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State in the state of Georgia.
What's your name? You said Parker?
My name's Parker. We have a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State in Georgia that approved our elections, and Donald Trump said that wasn't constitutional.
Relax.
Donald Trump tried to undermine our Constitution.
You're at 10. I just walked in. I'm here to just learn.
Hey, you're an anti-patriotic, anti-constitutional person crashing our party
So let me
because
ask you
you
one
tried
question.
to stop our democracy.
I got one question.
Donald Trump called the
Can I ask you
Secretary
one
of State of
question?
Georgia and told him to find him some votes.
What is a woman?
Oh my God. That is so fucking weird, y'all. Maybe you should meet one.
I'm married to a woman.
Same.
Well, what is a woman? That's my whole question. Why does the MAGA side always sexualize everything, right? They talk about tampons. They talk about what is a woman. probably you should see one, right? Or meet one. You say you married a woman. We don't know if that's a doll or a woman or whatever, but talking about sexualizing. Yesterday, we woke up to this disgusting update. So JD Vance had some type of a rally, right? And so what they brought up, since he's bashing the IVF, right, as a solution for families, and it's all anti-abortion and sort of laughing at those who are cat ladies who don't have children, that we're worth less and whatever. So they came up with this BS. It's called JD Vance's Family Kit. It looks like, you know what it looks like? And so they give it to everybody. And so they were mocking everyone who would need, help of IVF or Planned Parenthood or anything to become parents. And again, it's sexualizing and going into this weird, truly creepy, weird direction that it's not funny. It's not healthy. It just shows you how creepy you are. And it's like if you see a creep, change this, like cross the street. That's how I feel. Yikes. But talking about Trump, remember a few days ago, he talked about the honors, right? And he insulted military families and the heroes that sacrificed their lives for us, for our freedoms. And so today he was again asked about it, and he found a way to make it worse. Take a look.
Because many veterans are upset about that, including here in Pennsylvania.
No, I didn't hear that. I only heard, when I say better, I would rather in a certain way get it, because people that get the Congressional Medal of Honor, which I've given to many, are often horribly wounded or dead. They're often dead. They get it posthumously. And when you get the Congressional Medal of Honor, I always consider that to be the ultimate, but it is a painful thing to get it. When you get the Presidential Medal of Freedom, it's usually for other things, like you've achieved great success in sports or you've achieved great success someplace else. When you get the Medal of Honor, generally speaking, and I've met many of them and I've seen the families of many of them, this is an incredible honor, but it was a statement that it's much more painful to get because they're oftentimes in very bad shape. I've seen them come up and they've suffered greatly, whereas the Presidential Medal of Freedom, to my knowledge, I don't think anybody suffered other than they've worked hard and they've done great things. One's a military award, one's a civilian award, but sometimes very painful to get the other.
So he sees that as an award, like an Oscar, or like you win a medal because you ran a marathon, right? So for him, it's about that hardware, right? It's not about the idea that somebody sacrificed their life for this nation, and so they're honored for their sacrifice. It's not they won an award and the prize for it was their life. How creepy, how disgusting are you? And just to think about, not that he has a chance to become a president. This is our former president. This is the guy who represented every single military person for 4 years. 4 years. Can you imagine? I mean, this is just disgusting at this point. Speaking of disgusting, remember he said he's entitled to insulting Kamala Harris? So he was asked about it again. And he today, recently, made it worse. Take a look.
I do want to ask about your opponent, Kamala Harris, the vice president. You have criticized her appearance, you've criticized her intelligence. Is that the message to win over those moderate voters that you're going to need in the middle?
No, I don't think so. I think that the message is what a bad job they've done. I mean, if you look at this economy, if you look at inflation, and I love this country. I have to do what it takes to win. I have to get this country going because we're going to lose our country.
Why insult her intelligence?
Well, I have to do that. Well, I don't think she's a very bright person. I do feel that. I mean, I think that's right. I think I am a very bright person. And a lot of people say that. I don't think she's a very bright person. And you know what? Our country needs a very smart person. And I don't think she's a very smart person.
Well,
so I'm not looking
that?
I don't consider that an insult. That's just a fact.
But what evidence do you have for that?
I looked at the things that she said. I looked at the way she deals. I looked at her record of her crazy record. I look at her policies. I just don't happen to think so. Now, I could say she is, and I know that would be very nice, and the other thing, we have to win this election. If we don't win this election, you're not going to be asking me or anybody else questions. You're not going to have a country anymore.
Do you think those personal attacks are necessary for you to win the election?
I hope they're not. But if I don't think somebody's good at something, if somebody's not good at something, I've always spoken my mind. I don't think she's very good at this. I think she'll just.
So, did you catch the moment where he blabbered actually the truth? Where he said, the reporter asked him, by the way, she handled herself fabulously. Whoever that is, kudos. Also, it helped that she's blonde and white. And, if it was any person that looked a bit different, we know how that would have went down. Because the questions less, in his mind, provocative or straightforward were led to harassment from his side. So let's call a thing. Same as Tim Walz called a thing today. But did you catch the moment where she said, "Why are you saying that?" And he's like, "I have to." That I have to. That's what we need to. You can cancel the entire interview afterwards. That is the thing. There is nothing else left but to talk about Kamala Harris being beautiful and flipping it that she's not. He's beautiful now. What the hell? What the hell? You lived 78 years to tell us that you're beautiful? What? Oh my God. Anyway, talk about Doritos, to talk about Tim Walz and lying about his military record. Like, there is nothing else left. They have to insult people to be relevant in their eyes, because there's nothing else to say. Sick. And so he was in Pennsylvania delivering some bullshit. Take a look.
They have a mandate. We don't have enough electricity for ourselves. And now they're talking about putting all the cars on it. Well, doesn't work because the cars don't go far. If you'd like to go from here to, let's say, Washington to look after we fix the Capitol up and make it safe again, which will take approximately quickly. But after we.
At this point, he needs pills. Whoever treats him, this guy who lost his license, or whoever, maybe a drug dealer, I don't know, he needs pills because it gets worse. Or perhaps we listen to him every day and then now we understand how bad it is. No idea, but it's not healthy. Not healthy is, for instance, also this whole idea, and this just shows you how crazy the MAGAville is. So this podcaster that interviewed Trump and gave him a Rolex and a car and this cyber truck, the dumpster-looking truck. Look how that truck actually looked like. That he gave Trump for that interview. Take a look.
So I know we're not going to drive anywhere, but I was wondering if you wanted to listen to a song in here. All right, cool. This is how you open it up.
It is incredible.
Yeah, it is. I'll get on the other side.
Different kind of guy.
And this thing about it, that's what I don't understand genuinely, and I'm trying. Maybe you can help me. But if somebody faced a picture of the most traumatic experience in their life as an assassination attempt, where they're bleeding, but they're standing there shocked, protected by Secret Service, why would you celebrate that being on a car? Why would you celebrate and put it everywhere? Full transparency, I was in Manhattan yesterday looking for the bathroom, so I went to Trump Tower. And downstairs, they have their, I'm not recommending that bathroom either, but downstairs they have that store, right? On that Trump Tower, Fifth Avenue. And all of it is now covered with flags and pins of that particular picture. And by the way, if you're looking for the bathroom, I wouldn't recommend it, because if you exit Trump Tower on the other side, not the Fifth Avenue, but then Lexington, so there's a lot of homeless people, and so they're airing the area now. Downstairs at the lot, not the lobby, but in front of the lobby is a garden thing where there used to be cafes, but there's no cafes because nobody sits there. But they're homeless people, and so they're trying to get the homeless people out. It doesn't smell well. So if you visit Manhattan, I'm not recommending the Trump Tower backyard. The streamer that did it admitted that it was a stunt. He didn't give Trump the truck. His dad is renting it. Oh my God. It's because really? Well, I guess he will call it smart. Trump would call it smart. I mean, what else? Okay, we talked about the YouTuber. Oh, he recorded a new ad. And this ad is hella weird. Take a look.
Hello, everyone. I only want you to donate to my campaign if you can afford to. Unfortunately, most of you can't afford to because Joe Biden is a disaster as a president, the worst ever, and Kamala is worse than he is. She is actually worse, more evil, more committed to being radical left. I mean, she actually believes this stuff, defund the police and all of the other things. But if you can, donate. If you can't, I don't want to. We're going to make it. We're going to win one way or the other. But whatever you can do, we'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We're gonna win one way or the other? You mean like you're not gonna agree with the results and sue the heck out of it, and that's why you already started filing those lawsuits, and that's why you are putting those programs, anti-voting programs in Georgia? That's what you mean? Sick. By the way, if you are wondering what Kamala Harris thinks about his BS, I have a video for you. Enjoy. It's 3 minutes, but it's worth every second.
And these are these moments where I really wish that I had taken more psychology classes. Hi.
If I'm elected, you won't lose one plant. You'll have plants coming into this country. You're going to have jobs again. You won't lose one plant, I promise you.
Unbelievable. Yeah, tell the people at Lordstown that.
But I meet with Putin and they make a big deal. Anybody could have listened to that meeting. That meeting is open for grabs. You know, the whole Russia thing, it's a hoax.
Open for grabs? You know what he has made open for grabs? The United States of America. And he's selling us out. He's selling out our system of justice. Not to mention that he has sold out working people and sold out our values. It's really, it's fascinating. If it weren't so troubling, it would be really incredibly fascinating. And these are these moments where I really wish that I had taken more psychology classes.
The typical family of four earning $75,000, we see an income tax cut of more than $2,000. The numbers will speak.
Tax bill signed by the President of the United States cuts the taxes of the top 1% and the biggest corporations of America. 60 of the biggest corporations, no taxes last year.
The president had often talked about fortifying a border wall with a water-filled trench stocked with snakes or alligators, prompting aides to seek a cost estimate. He wanted the wall electrified with spikes on top that would pierce human flesh. After publicly suggesting that soldiers shoot migrants if they threw rocks, the president backed off when his staff told him that was illegal. But later in a meeting, aides recalled he suggested that they shoot migrants in the legs to slow them down. That's not allowed either, they told him.
He's talking about torture, and he's talking about maiming people, and he's talking about brutal acts of violence that would be caused by the government of the United States of America against people who are fleeing some of the worst injustices in the world.
The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. There was no collusion with Russia.
Literally, Donald Trump plays Alec Baldwin so well. It's just amazing to watch. He's such a good actor.
No and collusion.
They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
See, so Maya Angelou told us years ago, she said, listen to people when they tell you who they are the first time. And Donald Trump told us when he was running for president who he is. He thinks he can commit a crime in plain sight. That's what he's been doing since he's been president of the United States. He thinks he is above the law, but here's the thing I can tell you, and as a former prosecutor, I say this with great conviction. No one is above the law, including the President of the United States.
So to your point, when it was recorded, probably before the immunity ruling, but certainly that is the scary part, that immunity actually gives him the immunity to do so if he determines that this is, done in the official manner or whatever, it was in the best interest of the country. And then again, yes, it goes back to court to determine that. But if Supreme Court is buffoons, right, that are just yes people for Trump, then what are you going to expect? But if you think that is weird, J.D. Vance compared Kamala Harris with Epstein. Take a look.
Giving Kamala Harris control over inflation policy, Shannon, it's like giving Jeffrey Epstein control over human trafficking policy. The American people are much smarter than that. They don't buy the idea that Kamala Harris represents a fresh start. She is more of the same. It is doubling down on the failed policies of the Harris administration to give Kamala Harris a promotion rather than to fire her, which is what I think most Americans are going to do on November.
How does that?
I wouldn't even trust this guy with a dog. Take a Tell me if you never actually held a leash in your life and you do it for stunts. And by the way, there was a picture, I don't have it here, but there was a picture of the dog, and the dog was crying on the plane. It doesn't look like that dog belongs to any person of those actors here. Disgusting. Who's holding a leash like that? I don't have a dog. I mean, I would be even more advanced here. Jesus Christ. Last thing I want to talk about, and by the way, I have a long readout about Ukraine because Secretary of Defense Austin talked to his counterpart in Ukraine. It's a very detailed article I wrote about, the strategy of war. What did they expect with Ukrainian incursion into Russia? How will Russia react? It's a long article. I'm not going to read it out now because we're headed to the tribute. I don't want people to wait, but please take a look to your into your email tonight, late night, where you're going to have that detailed article. So if you're interested in that regard, please take a look. And then tomorrow I'm going to have this readout as well. But in terms of Palestine and Israel and Gaza altogether. Secretary Blinken arrived in Tel Aviv this morning, and before he spoke to President Herzog, President of Israel, he said that today and now is perhaps the last chance to get hostages out. 40 of them already passed. It's been we're almost nearing a year, right? October 7th, and now we're almost at the end of August. So 1 month left, and we're at the 1 year mark. So he's urged both sides to agree. The last thing that was informed, that we were informed about, that Israel has agreed upon that. So take a look. This is a video after his meeting, not just with the president of Israel, but also with their Gallant, with their minister of defense. So take a look.
Two main goals in mind. The first is to reaffirm the commitment of the United States to Israel's security. That's a commitment that we put into practice virtually every day since October 7th, including when Israel was attacked directly by Iran back in April. In recent weeks, given the heightened tensions, we have deployed additional assets to the region. The purpose of the deployment of these assets is not to provoke aggression, but rather to deter it, to make sure that it doesn't happen. But also to make clear that if it does, we are fully prepared to defend Israel. We've coupled this effort with an intense diplomatic campaign, virtually a global diplomatic campaign, working with countries around the world to send the message strongly to every concerned party not to take any steps that would escalate tensions, that would risk provoking a wider conflict. And this, too, has been something we've been working on from day one, since October 7th. It's been one of our primary objectives, to prevent the conflict from escalating, from spreading in other places. And so this coupling of our military commitments, our security commitments, with an intense diplomatic campaign is something that I'm pursuing on this trip, again, with the intent of making sure that we deter further conflict, but that we're also clearly prepared to defend against it if it comes. But what's most crucial now is that everyone refrain from taking any actions that could fuel further conflict, escalate tensions, and result in the spreading of violence and conflict.
So again, it's on Hamas now. So all this watermelon people and, from the river to the sea. By the way, I really encourage you to look at the map and figure out what is the river and what is the sea and what they mean by that and how disgusting that is. Really want to encourage you to do so. But all those protesters, even 5,000 of them or whatever, maybe you should go to Hamas and just ask them, right? Since they're so responsive and they're not terrorists at all, right? I mean, you see them as legitimate regime. Go ahead. Speaking of regime, very last thing, by the way, I just remembered. Russia is so funny. And this is shared by MAGA all day today. Russia offers safe haven for people trying to escape Western liberal ideas. So Moscow has said that if you're sick of those liberal ideas and they will provide assistance to any foreigners who want to escape the neoliberal ideas being put forward in their countries and move to Russia, where traditional values reign supreme, according to a decree signed by President Vladimir Putin. They will also give you or grant you a free excursion into the Ukraine, obviously. They will just drive you there. It's not going to cost you a thing, and wink wink, you're going to spend some time there, but you don't have to pass a language test and history test. And how amazing is that? I would say go if you're MAGA, if you're sick of liberals and us with all those freedoms and stuff. Go, please go. It's your destination. I mean, please. Great idea. I think it's fantastic. The river to the sea means destruction. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. If they choose to do this, don't call Joe or Kamala to get them out. Oh, nobody's going to get them out. No. Yeah, he needs counsel, of course. They already lowered the age for people to go into military to 14. So now let's take the MAGAville there. Please go ahead. Okay. I got some of your emails to send you the link to join us in just a second for the President Biden tribute. So there we're going to watch tribute video and then tune into the DNC. It's a private stream, so we're not violating any copyrights or anything. And then I will put together like a highlight video for everybody to see like how much fun we had. And probably we're going to cry a lot too. So I'm going to grab some tissues, and if you're registered, see you in just a second. I'll be right there. And for everybody else, thank you so much for joining. We're going to see each other tomorrow for a full length of the live stream where we're going to review clips from tonight's DNC day 1, and tomorrow night 1, and then tomorrow whatever happens through the day, and as much as possible whatever happens until 8. I'm going to be live at 8. Okay. Thank you so much once again, and see you tomorrow.